Hello, everyone. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of August 28th. So we're at the end of August. So just a couple of housekeeping things. I'm going to change the format of this podcast. I'm probably going to start in mid-September. So this will be the last of the weekly podcasts as we've worked with them. I've been doing this podcast in this format for 4 years. Is that crazy? 220 episodes. If I look at it, it's almost 4 years worth of work, which is wild. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what you and I have built together in terms of a conversation. And while I love this format, something about it is starting to feel like um just not the best for you and for me both. I think that the weekly format is so beautiful and so I'll keep that. I'll always be releasing a podcast on the Friday. But I want to start walking through the tarot deck. I want us to use the tarot deck. I want this podcast to act as a kind of library, kind of resource, so that every time you pull the Three of Cups, you have someplace to go. Every time you pull the Judgment card, you have someplace to go. And I think by going through a card a week, we'll get the double benefit of having a card to think about and reflect on for the week, having energy to work with, and having something that can be a little bit timeless. And I always think of this podcast as a kind of living audio oracle deck. And I think this will just kind of expand that idea and make it more helpful. So I'm excited about that. The other project that I'm super excited about, and those of you who are already clients and friends of mine will be receiving one in the next few days, is this Field Notes project. And that is this card that will be, it's going to be like a treat package, but the main thing is a card that is kind of part journal, part collage, part oracle card that you'll receive in the mail every month. So like hard copy, snail mail. And I hope it's beautiful. I hope it's inspiring to you. And more importantly, I hope that it anchors and grounds and inspires your practice. So there's a few words on the back and an image and language on the front that comes to me in meditation and in prayer and in dream work. And I would love it to be something that sits on your altar, that goes in your journal, that you give to a friend. I don't want it to be something precious, but I do want it to be something real. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but the AI situation, while we can talk about it from an environmental standpoint, we can talk about it from a ethics standpoint. There's something in the conversation about just the like level of unusable content situation. It hurts something in my heart, and I really would like to be in real spaces with real people, and that's not always possible. So this is my attempt at bridging the gap between like staying connected and us all being, people who are living very busy, happy, hopefully abundant lives. And this is a way for us to connect that feels real. I would love for you to send things back to me in the mail. I would love for this to become a kind of living project. That's why it's not necessarily like a product. It's more of a project, and I want to see where it goes. So that I'm really excited about. And you'll hear more about that in the next few weeks. But those two things are really on my mind. This moon, this full moon, is intense, the Pisces full moon. For me, water and animals are always highlighted during the Pisces full moon, and my animals were being really weird yesterday, and there was water everywhere. The town flooded. There was little flash floods all over here. It was just a wild day, and it completely took me off course. And it just reminded me that there are forces moving with us, right? There are tides and there's gravity. We live in a universe that has its own ability and desire to create alongside us, with us, in tandem with us. And we talk so much about what we're trying to create, but life is also trying to create through us, create with us. And I think in this month, we really maybe felt that, you really noticed that there's something that I want, of course, but then there's something that life wants for me. There's something maybe that I put into motion years ago that's starting to come online or starting to become a reality. And so it's very satisfying, and it can be frustrating, and it can feel confusing, which is part of that moon energy. We want to notice right around this time of the month, in particular, that the moon energy is here always with the full moon, but then we're also in this atmosphere of the moon card in the tarot deck. So we have this double moon energy coming at us, which is so beautiful and not linear, not a straight line. And so that's going to come up for us. Where is life kind of pushing you? Where are the tides pushing you? And what do you do with it? So you think about literally being in the ocean during and feeling the pressure of the ocean move, feeling the waves, feeling the tides. And what do you do with that? Like, how do you work with that? How do you fight that? Like, it's a really interesting metaphor to take into your day. That if you are literally, if the world is an ocean, it has a movement to it and a sway to it. Where are you resisting that? Where should you be resisting that? And where do you kind of maybe could move with that a little more easily, a little with a little more effortlessness? The card I pulled for us this week is the Judgment card. Is not a light past tarot card. It's the end of the one of the ends of the major arcana. It's the card of my eyes are open, I see something and I can't unsee it. I actually have a little bit of trepidation when this card comes up because the Judgment card is so definitive. What it was saying to me when I sat with it was this eclipse portal, it really is a doorway. And like we know that, but then we're experiencing it. We think we know what's going to happen, and then other things happen. It is a, expect the unexpected full moon. So we just want to stay with ourselves, stay with the work that needs to get done, stay in integrity, stay in truth, and recognize that whatever doorway we walk through, it's a big one. It's an important one. And the Judgment card comes when you've outgrown the skin, you've outgrown the life. There's something about, again, the pressure to become something, the pressure to evolve, the pressure to see with eyes wide open. There's usually, with the Judgment card, I do, like I said, I can have a little bit of trepidation. I feel less that. It feels more like a material shift. It feels more like, oh, wow, this is really different now. Something gets set in motion that creates a world that is, mm, like, materially different. I just keep having this sensation, and I said it in the newsletter I just sent out. There's something about this fire horse year where things are moving so fast, it can be hard to keep your feet under you. And there's something about this Judgment card and the energy of these moons and the sensation of the tides pulling at your body that it's just hard to keep our feet under us. And so what do you do with that? What do you do in those scenarios? I think what you do is you try to ride the current. I think what you do is you try to surrender, try to relax, and everyone knows me knows that that's like almost a big joke. But we're trying to sit in something bigger than ourselves. We're trying to not, I gotta say the word I keep hearing is fight the tides. And it's something I say a lot, but it feels particularly relevant here. There's a current coming through our lives with this Pisces full moon eclipse. And I guess I would say it's a current that wants to move us in a direction, and we're going there. Like, yeah, okay. Like, yay, we're going there, and things are going to be different. And the Judgment card, yeah, I guess it's just the reason that I feel trepidation with it in general, or one of the reasons it's a card that mm, I don't know, I stay a little longer with that card when it shows up, is because that's the fundamental movement of that card. The fundamental movement of that card is an eye-opening or a recalibration to what you see, what you orient towards. So there's a way in which there's almost like a North Star shift when the Judgment card comes up. And what felt, and I also said this in the letter I sent with the Field Notes project, there's a way in which things that you thought were immutable, fixed, firm, shift. And so now it's different. And I keep, as I say it, I know some of you, and some of you are like, I don't want it to be different. Maybe you do, actually. So we have to think of, we like kind of unwind this idea of co-creation. And if we really kind of break it down, it can sound like, okay, it's you and it's nature and it's the world, and you're all trying to co-create side by side. But the truth is, if we break it down, it's all the same energy, right? I am spirit, the divine, experiencing Kirsten, right? That is spirit, the divine, experiencing a pine tree. Like you are spirit, the divine, experiencing you. So as much as it can feel like we are these unique creatures, we're not. We're expressions of the same life force, the same vitality, whether you believe in that from a divinity standpoint or not. So there's something interesting about sitting in the fact that even as things change, even if things change in a way that you didn't necessarily plan for, there is some way in which it is like a divine order. There is some way in which there is a part of you that is trying to experience some other dimension of life. And again, the feeling I have is like I can literally feel my body being pushed. I have a Great Pyrenees, Stevie, she's such a cutie, and she literally will push me. She'll like herd me where she wants me to go. I have that sensation. And I have the sensation of being in the ocean and just feeling kind of the tug of the ocean. And okay, so where do we go? So I guess what I would say to you is, without fear, understanding that there's some this full moon has some agenda. This full moon gateway has some experience it wants us to have, and it's going to be pushing us in that direction. And that may or may not be comfortable. My experience yesterday with it was not comfortable. I was like, I have things I want to do, and the moon was pushing me to experience what was actually right in front of me, and that's a negotiation. The other thing is, if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. If you're meant to get it done, it's going to get done. And so this is a full moon of surrender. I'm kind of going around and around it because I'm not comfortable with it. But the truth is, this full moon is going to ask us to surrender something. And it's asking us to surrender something so that we can experience a new level of living, a new level of being ourselves. There's a pressure point here, and I also pulled the Queen of Pentacles for us, so I'll just say that it's not it's not something you're not prepared for. It's not something you can't handle. It's not something that is going to remove you from source, remove you from your feeling of groundedness, of safety. It's just something that's gonna the best thing is like Stevie pushing you or the tides pushing you. You're gonna feel the pressure to move in a certain direction and honor it. It's doing something for you. It's taking you somewhere. Okay, it's very early. I hope this podcast made sense. I'm still in the tornado that is my summer. I'm hoping next week things settle down. But right now I'm being tossed around by the winds a lot and by the waters a lot, and trying to have faith, trying to stay grounded, trying to get some rest. But it's not always easy. And forgiveness and grace for ourselves as we navigate life, which is a wild adventure. Okay, sending you so much love, and we'll be in touch soon, and take very good care. Bye.